Hello, everybody. This is Yetty Williams, founder CEO of LagosMums, which is the largest community of parents based in Lagos, Nigeria, and in the world. And what we do is to just make sure we're helping families make the right decisions, informed decisions, as we raise our children in the 21st century. And we all know one of those is education. The choice of school is a big part of those decision-making processes for families, especially as we make sure that we're trying to raise children who are ready for the future of work. It's so dynamic. And making that investment to send your child to school abroad potentially is one of the largest pieces of financial investments you will make as a family. So with that, we like to bring a couple of experts now and then to kind of talk to us about what to be considering. And so today we have Mark Brooks, who runs Mark Brooks Education, and he's worked with West African families for, gosh, over 30 years now?
17 years.
Yeah, so not 30 yet,
No,
but
not
so
yet.
we have Mark Brooks, who runs Mark Brooks Education, and he's been working with West African families for over 17 years, helping families place their children in the right schools for the children. And we also have Jon Peach and Tom Lawrence, who will introduce themselves. And we're going to just have a quick chat today about a few questions that have been coming through to me, both one-on-one and through emails and DM, from parents who have lots of questions about sending their children to school in the UK in 2025. What should they be considering? So I'll hand over to the gentlemen and we'll do quick introductions first, and then we'll get into the conversation. So welcome, Mark. Let's kick off with you.
Thanks very much, Yeti. And we were just chatting that we've known each other for 10 years, which is great. And I've been working with Nigerian families for 17 years. I run events called UK Boarding Schools Week in Nigeria 3 times a year and help families find boarding school places in the UK, which I do every single day, including lots of messages on Christmas Day as well. So it's 24/7 career, but it's also a vocation. Nigeria is some place that's very close to my heart, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of that and lots of positive feedback from parents. And I guess my main highlights over the last 12 months have been hearing from the students themselves who've gone on to universities, gone on to great things, keep in touch with us, and have become family friends with me and my wife, Tracy.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mark. Tom, would you go next? Just introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Tom Lawrence, and I'm here representing Concord College. I'm Vice Principal Honorary of Concord College. I've been working there for 36 years now, and still enjoy every minute of it. Concord College is quite distinctive because we're not a traditional British independent school. We are an international school with students from more than 40 different countries around the world. And hey, we would not be truly international if we didn't have a good proportion of African students with us. And so we're very keen to maintain our numbers of students from Africa. Nigeria represents the biggest cohort of Africans that we have. And been going to Nigeria for about 10 years now, recruiting students. And think I understand some of the issues which parents will face.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Tom. And not last but not least, Jon.
Thanks, Yeti. So my name's Jon Peach. I work at the Kings School Canterbury, which is very traditional. We are 1400 years old, so we've been going for many, many years now. And my role is head of international recruitment. So in terms of families, in terms of students, anybody who isn't from the UK really comes through me, and I help support them with their application process, finance, interviews, preparations, really. I've been working in international education for nearly 20 years now. I worked for universities before I got into schools. My first trip to Nigeria was back in 2008. Which makes me feel very old now. But I love it every time I go, and the journey that I've seen some of our Nigerian students go on in the last nearly 20 years is spectacular. And I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting some new students in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. So I have a few questions that I would ask, and it'd be great to have everybody pitch in, give their perspective, and then we'll leave Mark as well to ask some specific questions that I know he has based on the parents that he's been dealing with. So the first one is, at least from a Nigerian perspective, there's a lot going on in terms of the economy, right? Our foreign exchange, depreciation of the currency, then all this chatter around what is happening with the VAT, that the Labour Party has also introduced. So their families thinking, does it still make sense? Can I invest? Is there really return on investment in, sending my child to school in the UK? And it would be great to hear from your perspectives, gentlemen, how a parent should be thinking through, making this investment, especially in a time when things seem so uncertain. I'll start with you, Jon.
Perfect. What an easy question to start with. Look, I feel like every year since I've been doing this job, there's been a bombshell arriving every single year about UK education. And every year, parents have felt it a little bit heavier on their shoulders when it comes to whether or not they should send their children abroad. I still think, I still believe, and this is why I do this job, that international education is the best investment that any parent can make. Better than property, better than stocks and shares, better than Bitcoin. I still feel it's the best investment that parents can make. But at the same time, parents have to be smart. They have to be aware. They have to know what they can afford and which school is right for their child. And I think what's happening more and more now is that whenever you find problems, people find solutions. That's the beauty of the industry we're in. And there are probably more options for parents than they've ever been in terms of education. But I think what's happening now is parents have to look at value. They have to look at what is the value out there of education. They have to look at what their children want, what they're looking for, and the very best education institution for them. For some parents, it's going to be about saying, right, I can't do now from year 9 anymore. So it's just going to be A levels. For some parents, it might be even, I'm just going to do a postgraduate degree. That's going to be what I invest my money in. But I think for any parent who is listening to the noise, the press, the media, don't. Get in touch with the experts. Get in touch with yourself, Yetty. Get in touch with Mark. Speak to the schools because there are solutions for everybody. And I would hate for parents who've been saving for the last 10 years to send their children to the UK to suddenly be put off by a little bit of negative noise when there are still solutions out there, be it scholarships, be it bursaries, or even just different sorts of educational systems out there. So, yeah, parents have to be brave. They have to do the sums, they have to do their research, but please do not switch off from the UK. We value your education, we value your children. They set our schools alight with what they bring.
I
Wow,
could follow on from that. I would agree with all of that Jon has said. And the first thing I'd have to say is just the huge variety of schools we have in the UK. And one of the things which parents should invest considerable time in is investigating the huge variety and finding out which school is the best for their child, because every child is different and every child has different sets of strengths and concerns about international education. And Nigerians put a lot of trust in the testament of other Nigerian families, and certainly I'm sure you'll be able to converse with many Nigerian families who've had a very positive experience of UK education and can make their own recommendations. And as Jon has said, the UK has got so much to offer Nigerian students in terms of the breadth of the education that we offer here and in terms of the ongoing possibilities of going to university. The benefits, as Jon has said, of making that investment is your child will firstly return to you much more mature than any of the other students that they have left in their schools back in Nigeria. They grow up and they grow up fast, and they grow up in a calm and measured way willing to listen to other people, willing to hear another point of view, and just it seems like it adds 2 or 3 years to their maturity levels. Also, at a boarding school, unlike the school they may have at home, they will have an opportunity to get involved in so many different activities. We know that there are some good schools in Nigeria which have so much to offer, but in a British boarding school, the number of opportunities for sport, extracurricular activities, which develop the confidence of the students is huge. And of course, they're on site, and it makes it so easy to walk out of your bedroom and get involved in something, maybe something you've never done before. UK schools put a lot of time and effort into sport, but also in other activities like Duke of Edinburgh Award, for example, which really increases students' self-confidence. And the other main benefit I would point out, in addition to the academic strengths of UK schools, is you will meet people, fellow students from all around the world. And we all know we're living in an increasingly global society, and students who've come abroad, come to the UK, and they've met students from all over the world. They understand different cultures. They learn to respect different cultures, and they make contacts. They will know people in Beijing, in Singapore, even in Moscow still today, and all over the world. They will get to know them, understand them, and they'll have links which may well help them in their businesses. So it really is a fantastic opportunity for young Nigerians. And as Jon says, go out there, have conversations, investigate. And Jon has pointed out the need to adapt. And yes, we have adapted the schools, and we've adapted with fees. So the last time I was in Lagos, I gave some very generous scholarships to students who I thought would benefit from a UK education. And I'm sure Jon at King's Canterbury, they've done the same. I'll stop there. I could go on forever, but I must let someone else have a turn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you so much, Jon. And I think one thing I've taken away is parents have to investigate. Parents have to ask questions. Don't get carried away by, maybe what you're hearing out there. You really don't know. You don't know what's possible if you don't engage, right? Mark, I would like you to talk as well from your perspective.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think I'd like to change gear and talk from a personal perspective as a son and a parent. So, as a son, my children sent me to day school, independent day school, and then I boarded in the sixth form, and it completely changed the course of my life, career, and vision and values for the whole of the next. I'm nearly 60, and certainly it's shaped the last 50 years or 48 years of my life so far. And I think why that is because the values of the school were ingrained and instilled in me. The motto was work and keep to it, and it's also through God, work and keep to it. And I live by those principles every day. I work hard, work to my full potential, and with the God-given talents that God's given me. But also I work for changing lives as well, and it certainly changed the course of my life. And my parents were here. My dad was a company director, and he scrimped and saved to pay the fees, and sometimes it wasn't easy, even though they're £900 a term, which would be delightful if there's still £900 a term nowadays. But he scrimped and saved, and it was just the investment they made was worth it, because they didn't leave me a lot when they passed away a few years ago, but they'd given me in their inheritance was their education they'd given me. And so much so, as a father, I wanted to do anything to invest what I had in my own two boys' education. So we went to local cathedral school, the independent cathedral school, and they've had a fantastic education. They're doing well out of it, and it's shaped the whole of their lives as well. So I think in almost you're front loading your inheritance. You're giving them not treasures in heaven and earth and things. You're actually giving the investment of a fantastic education which will shape their lives and career and values. I went to a Catholic school which shaped me in my own attitude as well. So I think it's a fantastic investment. And I think coming on to all the things that the politicians and everything just that John referred to. I think what my main takeaway is that is if you want to send your child to an independent school, it is possible. And I'm very much a positive person that you can change business, get a different career, get a bonus, have some income coming in on the side. It is possible to earn the fees to pay school fees for your children. And if it's meant to happen, then it's certainly possible to happen. So don't like look at the fees and look at the money and be put off. Think of ways to raise your income and to negotiate as well with scholarships and bursaries and things as well to make it possible. But certainly with my own children and my life, it shaped me and I would recommend it to any parent. And that's why I do what I do every day of my life at the moment.
Amazing. So Mark, should I be adding career counsel as well to your so if parents need to earn a little bit more income, they need to come to you to figure out how to do that.
I do actually. Yeah, I have helped quite a few parents kind of change their attitude to their business and kind of be more positive, and things have happened and people have written books and have been more successful and everything else. So it's not just kind of student counselling, but whole kind of life counselling for parents as well.
Good thing. Good to know. Good to know. All right, awesome. I have this ties closely. And I think I'll stay with you, Mark, and then I'll go backwards with Tom and John. But the question is around, VAT, right? Does it mean that all schools fees have gone up by 20%?
Yeah, just to confirm, we use lots of acronyms in the UK, and VAT is basically a sales tax. And the UK is the only country in the world, I believe, to be adding a sales tax to education. But I don't want to get drawn down the political channel, but that's a 20% sales tax. And all schools have to charge that fee to parents. All fees have gone up by 20% with the VAT. But actually, most schools are soaking up, have basically reduced their fees by 10, 5 or 15% or 20% in some cases. So they're charging the VAT, but actually charging a lower fee. So do your research, talk to the schools, and certainly most schools haven't gone up by the full 20%. They've gone up by an average of 10%, which is an average fee increase per year anyway. So it's not as dramatic as it sounds. And so don't be put off by that. But certainly schools. Another point I'd really like to make is why we're doing this podcast and why I am so keen to come to Nigeria all the time is because the students are just absolutely fantastic. I was talking with a school yesterday and their head girl is a Nigerian. And I know we could go around the Tom and John, they could name head boys and head girls in their own schools that have been Nigerian. And they're fantastic assets to any school. And they're kind of a salt and light.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Mark. Tom, I'd like to come to you. Same question around the VAT and maybe how your school has reacted to that. And I guess let's use this to also add another question to it, which is what do you love about Nigerian students in your school?
Right. Okay. So the headline rate of our fees was increased by 12%, not 20, 12%. However, Concord College has always been very generous with scholarships, and I think it's fair to say that the recent Nigerian students who we know have really suffered with the economic problems currently in Nigeria. So I think it's fair to say that none of them are paying the full fee at present. We would start off with a basic reduction. I don't know if you want to hear the figures, but basic reduction would be 20% off the full fee, but we've certainly given a lot more than that. Why do we do that? Well, it's partly because when we meet students who we think would benefit from Concord College, we really want them to come. And there's that positive vibe that oh, wow, that student would really thrive at Concord College. We would really love to have them in the student body. And so we will do what we can to attract that student to come to Concord with a substantial financial reduction. And I was nodding vigorously when Mark was talking about the benefits of Nigerian students for us. They bring so much life, warmth, humour to the school. The culture, if you take a student from Thailand or mainland China, the cultures are so completely different. And there's something so enriching about bringing smart kids together from all around the world. It almost feels like they make each other smart. They motivate each other. They learn from each other. And Nigerians have got things they can learn from mainland Chinese students and vice versa. And so there's something about the richness and international mix, which I think is truly magical. I should have retired ages ago, but I'm still involved because I love it so much. And I love that mix of international students, Nigerian students. Where would we be without them? It would be a quieter school. It would be, there'd be less fun around. There would be less ambition. We love them. We want as many as we can to come.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing, Tom. Jon?
Yeah, so very similarly, we've got up 10%, and we're sharing that load with parents. Last year we went up between 6 and 7%. So this is not a big thing. I think there's something that's really important just to put across as well in terms of finance and fees. And I know parents know this, but I forget, and I'm a parent. There is no one at our school sitting in a huge, cushy office making lovely profits every year. Every penny that our parents spend goes into the best teachers, the best academic support, the very best sports facilities we can manage. We've just put in place a new multi-million-pound science lab at Kings School. So this is not about getting more money. This is about giving more back in terms of finances, and that's what happens every year. And I think in terms of the VAT, Mark's exactly right. It's political. It's all these sorts of things. But Nigerian parents have seen post-study work visas come and go in the last 10 years. They've seen the Naira go crazy and go back again and go crazy again. So this is nothing new for any of us. But we know that our kids have got another 40, 50, 60, 70 years of education and work, and we've got to support them. I have to do that. I don't know what my kids are going to get. I don't know what I'm going to be able to afford, what I can give them. But I know if they're going to have the best life they can, I've got to figure it out now. And I've got to really support them in that and make sure that the decisions I make, the money I make, the financial decisions that I take give them the best chance. And that's the same for every parent, and as I say, that's in terms of the VAT, it's just another thing. Okay, I don't want to get parents to get hung up on this because it's just another thing. Don't worry, guys. Okay, we're on your side and we want to help. In terms of Nigerian students, I had a little look over my shoulder there. I have a picture in my former school, in my last school where I worked, where I coached the football team. And there's a picture there of 15 boys aged between 16 and 18. It's a football team, so you can imagine how many of them were Nigerian. I think there were at least 5 or 6. 2 of them probably came through Mark at least, I would say. And look, irrelevant of what they brought to the school, irrelevant of what they took away, that was one of my favourite years of my life. Coaching those boys, spending Wednesday evenings with them on the training pitches, being made fun of because I can barely run because of my back and my knees and all those other things that 17-year-old boys can make fun of old people like me with. But Tom's right. The quality of education in the UK is reliant on the quality of students, on the diversity of students. We are as good as our students, and we are as diverse and interesting and relevant and helpful as our students. And we want the best from everywhere. We don't want the richest. That's the thing that sometimes people forget. We might need the richest sometimes, but we want the best, and we want those that are going to bring something. And I know every single parent listening to the podcast, this information session will know how brilliant their own kids are in whatever area it is, whether it's maths, whether it's science, whether it's football, whether it's the piano, whether it's singing. Mark's right. Think about what your child is capable of, is going to offer, and think about the school that wants that. Speaking for me, you know what I mean? We don't even have a football team at my current school. So that's not going to be the right thing if your son is the next Cristiano Ronaldo. But we have the best choir in the country. We have students that go on to do medicine at UCL and Kings and Bournemouth. So think about what your child wants, what they can offer, what makes them special and unique, and find the right place for them where they will be appreciated. Because if you ring me and say, my son's a brilliant footballer, I'm going to say, great, we don't want him. So think we might want him, you know what I mean? The point being that there's somewhere there that will, and someone that will support you financially because of those skill sets. So talk to Mark, talk to the other schools, give them a ring. We all have someone like me here who is very happy to chat about how amazing your kids are and how we can help them improve our own schools.
I think I'd also like to add on the financial side of things that don't do what I did. We woke up one morning and our son wasn't doing very well in the local state school that's backs onto our garden, and we had to move him within 3 weeks, and we had no savings. We paid him the fees out of monthly income forever and ever. Gosh. Which we managed to do through hard work and God's help. But certainly I work with a lot of good financial advisors, and what they recommend is, if you're thinking about independent school in the UK, even if a child is only 5, you can start a savings plan, set up an account in the UK, have an educational trust set up. You can save an absolute fortune in tax and investment and school fees, transfers, and losing exchange rates and things if you plan as early as possible. And I work with lots of financial advisors who help parents save thousands and thousands each year doing just that. So it's not just having a finite amount of money and what to do with it in terms of school fees. There's ways to maximize your income, make it work for you, and lessen the pain of the school fees through doing that. So for those listening to the podcast, we're going to be in Abuja this week on Thursday, the 16th of January, at the Transcore Hilton Hotel at the Banu Room. We've got an educational reception from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock, so parents are invited to that. We're also going to be flying the next day down to Lagos to the Wheatbaker Hotel, and everyone knows me. I always use the Wheatbaker. So Mark Brooks and Wheatbaker are synonymous with exhibitions and fairs, and is our favourite hotel in Lagos. And we have an exhibition there this Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th, all afternoon, so 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We've got 10 boarding schools joining us, including Tom and John as well, and everyone's invited to that. And on Saturday night we have a reception. We have a fantastic entertainer doing a drumming workshop and drumming concert, so that's worth coming to. That's Saturday the 18th at Wheatbaker Hotel as well.
We are relatively high-end in terms of results. Every year in the UK, some newspapers produce league tables. We don't actually like those league tables, and most people in education don't, because they simplify what is a far more complicated picture than simply the exam results. Nevertheless, there was a league table produced recently by the Times newspaper, which put Concord 10th in the UK in terms of its A-level and GCSE results. And the type of parent who is likely to choose Concord is ambitious for their child, particularly in terms of university destinations. We send large numbers into the London universities, Oxford and Cambridge, and to top universities in the States every year. So the academic level at Concord is high. We're not right for everybody, but for, academically ambitious students, we are certainly one of the places to consider.
So, thanks, Tom. And John?
Yeah, so we are slightly different. We're an all-through school, so we are a junior school and a senior school. We go from the age of 3 right through to 18. At our senior school, we are set in the grounds of Canterbury Cathedral. We are, as I mentioned, the oldest school in the UK. We are synonymous with the Church of England, and that spirituality is running through our school in everything that we do. Mark had a brilliant interview recently with our head, who's been in post for just over a year now, and she has brought new drive, vision, passion to the school, but that's combined with tradition. Most of the parents I work with want British education because of the tradition that comes with it. And we are passionate about that, passionate about making sure that our students get the best education in the UK. Last year, 60% of our A-level students got A-star to A. So we have a brilliant track record of getting students great results and getting them to the top universities. But more importantly, we have 32 different A-levels to select from. We have over 50 different extracurricular activities going on each day. So there are lots and lots of things that our students can do. And I think in terms of the UK, we are a market leader in terms of those opportunities. So come and see me in Lagos on Saturday or Sunday. Chat to me, but definitely chat to the other schools that are there as well, because I promise it's always chocolate or ice cream. Okay, they're all brilliant. It's just whichever one is right for you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. This was really, really helpful. I'm sure a lot of parents are going to enjoy listening to this, even outside of coming to a particular fair that's holding this weekend in Lagos at Whitbaker Hotel and Thursday at in Abuja, right? So yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mark, for your time. Safe journey to Nigeria.